Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Really appreciate you coming out to look at this Mangler with me. I just started messing with this a few minutes ago. So let's see what the deal is with this thing. I had gotten this in a group of 4 for $40. This is definitely the double TURD. Mr. Snake's going to try to help me rectify this. As you can see, it looks like a bunch of kids went to town on this, spray painted the hell out of it. I don't know why. This is worse than an Earl Scheib paint job. There was no taping involved at all, and probably a lot of overspray, as you can see. No air filter, no cover. This thing is totally saturated with sand. Before we move on and look at this thing closer, I want to show you the other 3 fine beauties that I got in this package deal. We got a Murray, which I just degreased last night. This will be the next project I tackle after that yard machine. This is a 2003 Pulsajet style. This one fired off. This next one's a 2007 Honda. This one did not fire off. It ended up acting funny, like the keyway was broken. We actually got this 2018 Honda GCV to fire off. So we've got some success. The safety brake cable was broken on this one. I wired up the safety linkage. This thing fired off. So let's get back to the yard machine. We're gonna see what did this thing in. If the kids that messed with this drove this into a lake. What we had initially discovered on this thing is that the wire for the plug wire was cut. So before we dig into this 2015, here's the MTD model number. 11 Alpha Bravo Oscar Bravo Lima 729. So it appears just the end clamp here was removed. I may have one in my stash of parts. It was just as easy for me to switch out another coil. I ended up cleaning up the flywheel that had a lot of white buildup on it, a lot of rust. Cleaned up the contacts where the coil sits with some rough sandpaper. So let's look at the plug. This is the plug that came out of it. Looks like it's an auto light plug. Doesn't look terribly bad. I'm just going to clean up the end of the plug here. There's a lot of rust on it. So then we'll look a little deeper into this yard machine, try to figure out what the story is. I looked at the blade. Blade is not damaged, and the blade is straight. I don't see any issue with the blade. I think the crank is fine. I think they just mess with it on the top side here. Got some metal showing. That should be good enough. Oil level's low. It's below the low mark. I'm going to pour a little bit of oil in this thing. Then we'll go on to look at the tank. There is liquid in there. I've got my turkey baster. We're going to see if it's got fuel in it. And then we'll happy juice it once I put the recoil back on, see if we get any action, and then we'll dig deeper after that. Okay, gave it a good pour to bring up the crankcase oil level. Let's see what we got for fuel. Not a bit of fuel. It looks like it's got straight water with some cloudy substance dancing around. So this thing's a mystery. Maybe Harvey and Helen let the kids mess with this because it crapped out and the kids poured water in the tank pretending it was gasoline. How many kids and cadets out there did that to your parents' Chevy station wagon when you're about 5? Take the garden hose and fill up the gas tank with water, pretending you were a gas station attendant, and then all hell broke loose after the fact, of course. Yeah, we're not getting anything out of here. There's not a resemblance of petroleum product in this tank. So, what shall we do? Let's get down and take a closer look at this thing. So a lot of sand here. So I don't think they drove it into a lake. I think they filled this externally. Definitely sat under a tree. We got vegetation, more spray paint, severely rusty up here. Under the cover. Let's roll this thing over and look underneath. Oh, that rear wheel is not moving. That's stuck. So definitely this thing has seen some water. Oh yeah. Got some cobwebs here. This thing's been sitting unused. It appears just to be flaky. I don't see any holes yet. So maybe I'll wire brush this, as you kids and cadets have suggested in the past, and put some old motor oil on this. We're getting close to rust through. I I think the blade's fine. Just by peeking at it earlier through the trap door. Oh, another thing I noticed, I need a new primer bulb. This one here has been cut. I have some backup bulbs, so when I have the air filter backing plate off to clean it up, I'll change out the bulb. So that's juice. Let's throw the recoil on it. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't know if I told you, I rectified the cable, oiled it up, put it back together again, just to get this thing to start. I'll end up changing out the cable. Let's manhandle the Mangler. That was promising. It felt like it wanted to start. I'm trying to overcome all that water, and that may be impossible. Damn if we didn't have success. That was a surprise. It almost felt like it wanted to stay running, but water doesn't burn. There must have been enough motivation to keep it running there for a few seconds. So we know what we got to do. Clean out the tank. Get rid of all this moisture, clean out the carb. Sharpen the blade. That wheel back there is locked up. Also, the handle, when I got it, was all the way down into the underside. I just threw a screwdriver here to keep the handle from going down. That tube goes all the way down if you don't have the bolts in place. So I jimmied that screwdriver there so we didn't chop off the end of the handle. So that needs a couple of screws on the handle. This thing needs some attention, but it fired off surprisingly. I don't know why the Earl Scheib paint job ended up on this yard machine. So I'll fix this, I'll plow through. I don't know how much of a good-looking machine I'm gonna make it. I may just put this in my second row of machines. Not the best, but something that's acceptable. So I don't know if I would be keen on pushing this around my front yard. I think the neighbors would get a good laugh. But it'll get the job done eventually once I rectify all these known issues we've discussed. Anywho, thanks for looking at this 2015 yard machine with me. Again, if you have got to order parts from MTD. Have a good day today. I thought you'd be curious to see how the Mangler turned out. I was kind of curious as well. Tip your waitress and wait staff. They're doing a great job. They really appreciate your generosity. Have a good day today. Thank you very much for coming out, subscribing, and liking my content. We got Southwest Airlines heading out to Sky Harbor in Phoenix, Arizona. Good place to be this time of year. Take care, everyone.